as you get older, you need, all the kudos you can get for even small tasks. Good morning, good morning. Please find your seats and prepare for this morning's service. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbia. My name is Jessica Cross, and I am your service leader of the day. To those of you who are here with us in the sanctuary, please be advised that this service is being streamed on YouTube. To those of you watching, we're glad to have you watching, but would of course rather have you here with us in person. Also, let me remind you that we have a pre- and post-service Zoom event, which also runs the YouTube stream of the service. Please make sure that you read the announcements in your printed order of service. Also, and especially, be sure to read the weekly events that are emailed to you each Thursday, as well as the Unigram and the website. I urge you to keep our website, your website, open as a tab on your internet browser so you can keep up with what's happening. Please practice social distancing and mask wearing per board-approved guidelines. At the moment, approved guidelines are that masking is optional while in the sanctuary, except that masks must be worn during singing, and Emilio is going to come up and say a word or two more about that.
Good morning. Well, Jessica, you already kind of reminded people, but I just want to remind you to have your mask at hand like I do. I'm not a singer, but if you're going to sing, we still recommend that you wear the mask. Also for kiddos, those that are 2 to 5 that haven't had the vaccine, we request that, where they're around other people, they wear the mask. Older kids, if they've been vaccinated, it's kind of like adults. We'll keep an eye on the community transmission. Right now it's still pretty low, and it's probably safe if you've been vaccinated and you take precautions to be around other people without a mask. But again, it's optional. If you have a reason to wear it, then nobody's going to tell you not to. And also keep in mind that things may change. So if you get an e-blast or an email saying that we're back to masking again, I hope it doesn't have to happen, but just keep in mind things may change. Thank you. That's all.
It's been years since I could do that. An announcement from Pat and Jean.
Okay, well, today we start the beginning of the week of the yard sale, which you'll see we've already started bringing things in. Some people have volunteered for times during the week. If you have not yet and you'd like to, Pat has the chart here and you can sign your name.
Those blank spots, there's still room for you.
And that would be for pricing and organizing. If you've volunteered to work this afternoon, you will notice that the tables have labels for different items like kitchen, dining room, collectibles, miscellaneous household. Please, would you bring your things in? If you've got them organized that way, would you please put them on the appropriate table? If not, if they're unorganized, just shove them up against the wall and we'll do that later. What else?
No, that's it, the boxes.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it. The garage sale is...
Next weekend.
Yeah, Friday from 10 to 6.
We always forget this.
Yeah, 10 to 6 on Friday.
Starting at 9.
9 to 6 on Friday, and 7 to 3 on Saturday. And you're also welcome to volunteer for the garage sale, for the actual sale. We need people to, I think we've got our cashiers all set, but we need people to just roam.
We need to monitor, yeah, we need monitors.
Yeah, and after the service today, we'd like to meet with all the volunteers for this afternoon in the RE wing right outside the door. So please, after the service, come and meet with us before jumping into your jobs.
And we would especially welcome people with good backs. Because we've already had people say they need help unloading, so.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Thank you, and remember that this is a fundraiser for us, and we can always use funds. Deb Matherly now has an announcement.
Use my glasses to my mask. Okay, perils of masks. Hi. Hi, I'm Deb Matherly. In March, the UUCC board was discussing potential policy changes that may be proposed by the Unitarian Universalist Association, or UUA. This is the association to which we and more than 1,000 UU congregations across the country belong. The board asked me to establish a cross-functional ad hoc committee to address communication, education, and openness on UUA issues. A couple Sundays ago, Linda Brennison and Bob Whitaker spoke about the Article 2 Study Commission of the UUA, assigned with the task of rewriting the UUA bylaws, including our 7 principles, and they reminded us about the UUA survey of individual members. I hope you've been seeing and reading announcements in the e-blast, the order of service, and the unigram about these and other denominational events, such as General Assembly coming up in June. Our committee, Exploring Denominational Change, sees this charge as an opportunity to delve into some of our core values within and across the congregation in order to provide informed opinions and enter into deeper discussions with other congregations and the denomination as a whole at General Assembly in June and other venues going forward. I'd like the committee's members who are present to please stand up. Anyway, okay. We acknowledge and respect the diversity of opinions and experience in the congregation about UUA in general and these topics in particular. All positions and experiences are not represented on this initial working committee, but all voices will be heard in discussions. This month, you can look forward to a few more informational announcements, and on May 22nd, a sermon by Rebecca Drennan, with many more opportunities for discussion and interaction to follow. So please join us, the board, and all members and friends as we explore together. Let's envision the UUA heritage our children, grandchildren, and young adults will embrace and cherish. Let's explore the common core values that unite our many very different paths to faith and reason, such as caring for the earth and for each other, from the smallest to the most expansive ways. Explore how we relate to the broader UUA and figure out how together we can best participate and help shape the UUA conversations and decision-making. Explore ways to share and grow our connections with and service to our broader community in Columbia, Midlands, and beyond. Grow our goodwill to foster commonality and build bridges, not walls. Bring our strength, courage, kindness, and compassion to truly listen, be vulnerable, and walk together on this path of deepening joy, inclusion, sharing, and purpose. Together, let's amplify our understanding, our compassion, and our impact. As we hear every Sunday, we don't have to believe the same to treat each other the same with respect, compassion, and dignity. Let's explore denominational change together. And as I used to teach the pre-K UU RE class in Maryland, let's do so as the church with open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. So thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Today's flowers are lovely. I don't know who brought them. Whoever you are, thank you. And now let us center ourselves for today's service and remember to silence all electronic devices as we listen to the prelude.
For one Sunday only, we have a marvelous visiting guest piano Due to the generosity of Columbia's Rice Music House, this Steinway Concert Grand was moved in for our special partner church benefit concert yesterday evening, and we get to enjoy its sound here today. I'm going to begin with a piece from last night's program, Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major.
We are so lucky to have somebody as gifted and generous as Anna every Sunday morning. Thank you. And thank you to Rice Music House. Please stand and join me in the Congressional Covenant as found in your order of service. No? Congressional, congregational, maybe it should be congressional. They certainly haven't covered themselves with glory. Thank you. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. Our minister is the Reverend Stephen Robinson, and on those Sundays when Stephen is not in the pulpit, we present a variety of qualified and interesting speakers from this congregation or from the wider community. Unitarian Universalism is a diverse and non-creedal religion. We are a covenantal religion, which means that we don't have to believe the same in order to treat each other with respect, equity, compassion, and dignity. Our community is based on deeds, not creeds. As Unitarian Universalists, we side with love, embracing all people, regardless of age, color, race, socioeconomic status, physical ability, or religious background. We especially invite families and young children. We even have a nursery. We are a welcoming congregation, which means we also embrace LGBTQ individuals. We encourage everyone to wear name tags so that we may know each other better. Board members wear green name tags, and they always welcome your comments, questions, and suggestions, especially the suggestions. Would the members of our Board of Trustees please stand now so that you may be recognized? Thank you, and thank you for your service. At this time, we would like to recognize any guests or visitors who are with us today. Visitors, please fill out a visitor card and put it in the collection plate. There should be one in the back of a chair in front of you. That information will enable us to send you our newsletter and emails about events. No one will come on an uninvited visit. Now, visitors, if you are willing and able, please rise and share with us your name and where you are from, or if you have guests with you, please feel free to introduce them. Stephen will have the microphone. Please wait for the microphone. Is there anybody who would like to? Very good.
So what is it, name and where I'm from?
Yes, please.
All right. I'm Austin Starkweather. Moved here a couple years ago from Nashville, professor at the university in finance. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Really appreciate kind of the deeds over creed. That really resonates with me. So, real happy to be here. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Allison Teratio. You all will hear from me in just a little bit, but just to introduce myself, I'm a neighbor down the street on Duncan Street, so I really appreciate having this congregation in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Welcome again. When we are further along in our recovery, we will take time to greet each other. And I would tell you that you are all welcome to stay and continue your conversations and join refreshments in the social hall, but we're not there yet, so I can't say that. We'll wait, and we will look forward to it. And it's now time to light our chalice. I've asked Richard to do the physical part of lighting the chalice, and I would just like to say, as I've said before that almost all religions recognize that there is a line between the sacred and the secular, or the sacred and the profane. And for us, lighting the chalice is that line where we go from more mundane thoughts and pursuits, perhaps, to something that is more than that or deeper than that. And it is in that spirit of defining that sacred space that we now light the chalice. Spirit of light and life, come unto us.
All right, I'm going to pull the mic up. Is that all right, Jessica? A little bit. I have to tell you that as an introvert, I think we should invest in this piano because it is great to be able to hide over there. Like, you have no idea that I'm even there. It's nice. And I don't mean that as taking a shot at the piano. I actually think that's a good investment for us. So I will personally help with that just to have the hiding space. So until I probably see the bill for it, then we'll have a different discussion. So welcome. This is our Beltane Celebration on May 1st. And it is a delight to bring you into this space, bring you indoors for what should be probably an outdoor celebration. But we did that last week, and Bill Dolly can't do it 2 weeks in a row. So our opening words actually come from Rebecca Conway, who wrote this poem as a reflection after observing a Beltane fire festival in Ireland. She writes, "Beltane fire swirling bright, making way for new beginnings. Cleanse me and light my way, all my past shall be burned away. Dancing round and round we go. Thank you, God and Goddess, for your help. We say goodbye to winter, to the dark and the cold of the great horned God. We give thanks to great Mother Earth, to the elements and the spirits, and we ask for blessings for fertility, light, and love, and we say hello to summer." At this point in our service, we're going to switch around a little bit and do the musical meditation after we have our story for the all ages. So at this time, I would like to invite any children who are here in our congregation that would like to come down for the story of all ages. Please join me up front. Come on down. Thank you, Mackenzie. Hello, everybody. It has been a long time since we've been able to come down here. This is exciting. And just for parents' sake that are here, just know that we are videoing the service, but we are also pausing the video during this time to protect the audio will still be heard. All right, so I'm going to show you a picture, and you tell me if you know what this is. You ready? Here we go. Oh, wait, I got to turn it around. You should just say blank sheet of paper, Stephen. All right, here we go. Do you know what that is? Yeah. What is that? I have no idea. I like honesty. Okay, kind of looks like a tent, right? Yes. Yep. Definitely. So we got tent and no idea, so that's good. We can see that out there. I bet Mackenzie knows what this is because she is. So she can give you a hint. All right. So this is what's called a Maypole Dance. Can you see that? It's got a tall pole with lots of different color ribbons that come down. And this is one of the celebrations that you do on May 1st. It is a way to recognize beauty and diversity, because what happens in this dance, as all the kids there on the picture, as they walk around in the circle, all those different color ribbons intertwine, and then you kind of grab it at the top and then intertwine them again. So it's almost like braiding hair. It's really beautiful when you finish, and it's a lot of fun just to run in a circle as well with a ribbon. And this is one of those things that we often do sometimes with flowers as well. We put flowers on there. So why would we be doing something outside right now and thinking about flowers? Why is that important? Got any idea? What's coming up? Yeah, go ahead.
Because flowers give us air.
All right, flowers give us air. That's right. What else?
Season of spring.
All right, spring? Yep, that's exactly right. It's a kind of a sign of spring, not even kind of, it is a sign of spring. And that is one of the things we are celebrating today, that May Day, May the 1st, and this Maypole Dance that we often use as a ritual is a reminder that there's a big thing that's coming. It's not spring, it's not fall, it's not winter, so what is it? Summer. Everybody say yay for summer. Summer is coming. So summer, what do you love about summertime?
It's my birthday.
Hey, that's a good thing. It's your birthday during the summer. All right, what else do you love about summertime?
I like no coldness.
All right, no coldness. That's right. All right. Unless you're in Montana, right? Anything else? Do you have school during the summer?
On summer break.
You're on summer break. How could that not be the first thing that you're happy about? Summertime. Maybe you love school. I don't know. Well, we are looking forward to summer here, and hopefully at some point, we've done this little ritual before outside. Maybe at some point you'll get to participate that. It's a whole lot of fun and a good way to celebrate spring and summer and the beauty of flowers and the beauty of colors. And thank you for being here. At this time, if you would like, we have a RE program, and Mackenzie can walk you back to that. Playground time. Oh, even more fun. Outside time today. Thank you for coming down. At this time, Anna's going to move to our musical meditation, so we invite you to enjoy.
This is Meditation by Cecile Chaminade.
Thank you, Anna. Just absolutely beautiful. This time we take a moment in our service to light candles of community for the joys and concerns that you are bringing into this space that you want to recognize. So if you're willing, there are always 7 candles out front in the foyer. You're welcome to take one and come down and briefly share your joy, your concern, and then light a candle to share with us. I invite you at this time, if you have a candle, to please come.
Last evening, our rafters rang with the sound of glorious music. Diva Anna Hamilton provided us just that. And I'm at a loss for words at how your music thrilled the audience, just beyond words. And 32 years, practically, of partnership with our Transylvanian congregation really brought us to last night. During the evening, we had greetings from our partner church minister, Zolt Shoimasi, and he brought into our midst the humanitarian crisis that our Unitarian community in Transylvania is dealing with. And folks opened their hearts and pocketbooks to support the partner church and their efforts. In a way, Zolt's short message was a teaser. We have so much more to learn about what they're doing, and hopefully this will be possible in a future service here. After I got home last night, and don't ask me how many hours of sleep I didn't get, it was just so thrilling the whole evening. But I did write Zolt about the evening, and he wrote an email reply, which I'd like to share. He said, "This is amazing to hear, how wonderful to have such a great audience. Anna is wonderful too. Thank you so much for doing this. You are our heroes." So here is to partnership. And just a P.S., what happened last night would not have been possible with so much help from so many. So thank you all.
Hi, my name is Joan Waterson, and I'm lighting this candle for 2 people. The first is Bob Chubon, who died on Friday. Bob sustained a spinal cord injury when he was a teenager in a diving accident and lived for almost 85 years as a quadriplegic. He was a very amazing person. The second one is for his widow, Sandy Chopin, who's been a faithful member of our congregation for many, many years. Many of you remember her as the kitchen maven. She was the coffee and cookies person for years. So this is for both of them. And we need to support Sandy in her new life.
I'm Jenny Verne. If you know me, you know I don't want to be standing up here. But I'm standing here on behalf of the Mountain Retreat and Learning Center. Our congregation this year sponsored our third annual work week up there. And we had a wonderful time. We accomplished great things for the mountain. And we hope you'll all join us on retreat up there in October. We won't ask you to scrub toilets, I promise. We've already done that. But I want to thank publicly everyone who went and helped. And also there are several people who really wanted to go and for whatever reason could not. We appreciate your spiritual support up there and hope you can make it next year. This is for the mountain. Thank you.
And we light a final candle for those silent joys and concerns. Let's take a few breaths of silence and remember these joys, these concerns that we've heard. Thank you. You've already met our speaker today, Allison Turaccio. Is with us today from Planned Parenthood, and we are so delighted to hear of the good work of this organization and also proud to name them as our Share the Plate recipient for the month of May. So Allison, will you please come and share? It's up here is good.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here in person. I got to speak on behalf of Planned Parenthood last year via Zoom, and that was great too, but nothing like being here together in the neighborhood. I come to you today as a representative of Planned Parenthood South Atlantic. Planned Parenthood, most people think of that big national organization, but really the health care is provided at the local affiliate level. And so our affiliate is 4 states, North and South Carolina, West Virginia, and part of Virginia. And I highlight that today because as we look toward June, when we expect a decision in the Mississippi abortion ban case, that could very much change the nature of how we provide care. And as I was walking here today, I'm lucky enough to live close enough to walk. I was walking here today, I saw a care no matter what sticker on the back of one of our cars. And I even have a patient greeter volunteer who has no matter what tattooed across his wrist. And that, to me, really speaks to the heart of where we are nationally in the state of South Carolina and right here in Columbia. Planned Parenthood existed in the bulletin, it says 100 years. Planned Parenthood existed before 1973, before Roe versus Wade, before abortion was legal in the United States. Many of you may remember the time when we had to get people across the border on airplanes, get them their $500 so that they could get to care, right? We may be looking at that time again. I hate to say it up here. It's heartbreaking. In September, when Texas people, pregnant people in Texas lost that right, it was pretty devastating. We knew that the writing was on the wall, and we knew we had to be ready for what was about to come. So Planned Parenthood South Atlantic, Planned Parenthood will exist here in South Carolina, and we will provide as much care to people as we possibly can. We will provide birth control. We will provide screenings. I go there for my annual screenings. We will provide all kinds of health care, as much as we can offer, as much as the law will allow. Many of you may know that South Carolina did pass what they call, we're calling a 6-week ban. So essentially, if a person is pregnant, they'll have about 2 weeks to gain health care if they don't want to continue that pregnancy. That's probably what we'll be looking at in the state of South Carolina. Anybody who finds out that they're pregnant beyond that time will likely have to travel. So they'll be looking at going to Charlotte. They'll be looking at going to Asheville. They'll be looking at going to other states. And so as you consider your gifts this month, I do want to ask you to give in with your thoughts towards Planned Parenthood. And I also want to just lift up that there are abortion funds that will help people travel as they need to. They will help people with childcare. We do know that people needing abortion care are most likely already parents, right? And so they will need to take off work. They will need to make up for that money somehow when they have to take off work. And so think about that as you're considering the new time that we're entering into. I hate to be the bearer of such devastating news for most of us, but that really is the reality, and I don't want to sugarcoat it a lot. We will continue to provide appropriate sex education for folks. That will be very important to avoid the unintended pregnancies that will cause people to have to travel and seek care elsewhere. So we need people to know how their bodies work. We need to know how, we need people to know how, how to avoid unintended pregnancies and how to get the care that they need in advance of that. So that's really what I bring to you today, is that the need is great, and it will continue to be great, and that Planned Parenthood South Atlantic will be here to provide as much care as we can, even if we have to help people get to other health centers in our affiliate. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Allison, for alerting us, articulating for us the urgent need in our current political climate. Obviously, if you would like to donate to Planned Parenthood, you can do so with an offering envelope or a check that just simply says share the plate, and you can also do that online. This time I'm going to ask our ushers to come forth and receive our morning offering.
On this first day of May, our offertory music is May's Song by Enrique Granados.
receive our offering today, a symbol of our commitment to this good work. And another round of applause for Anna and all of the beautiful music. This morning we woke up with the month of April being behind us. Today is the first day of May. Sunset last night began a 24-hour observance called Beltane. For the people of the earth across the world and really across history, staying in touch with the rhythms of the earth and the changing seasons was not only a way to mark time, but it was also key to their survival, to know when to plant, know when to reap, know when to withdraw, know when to move animals. All of those things were so important to their own survival, and they had to be in tune with the time, or they could, use their iPhones as well. For the people of Celtic Ireland and Scotland, this time of year was marked with the celebration of Beltane. The word simply means sacred fire, fire of God, maybe even the name of the sun god in Celtic literature, a celebration of that sun god rising back to prominence in the beginning of summer. Abundant fertility on all levels is the central theme. The maiden goddess has reached her fullness. She's the manifestation of growth and renewal. Flora, the goddess of spring, the May Queen, the May Bride, and the young Oak King, the Jack in the Green Man, falls in love with her and wins her hand. Together, the May Queen and the May King are symbols of that sacred marriage, the union of earth and sky. And there are so many rituals that are surrounded, beautiful rituals with this particular holiday. We talked about one with the children and youth, and how great was it to be able to do that again in our service and incorporate that as a part of what we do on Sunday. The Maypole Dance is an exciting ritual to watch and a fun, exciting ritual to be a part of. There's also an ancient ritual called jumping over the broomstick. And it is for those who wanted to be married, but didn't want to necessarily be married in connection to a local religion or church. And so they simply celebrated this on May the 1st by jumping over a broomstick together at the same time, symbolizing that jump over the threshold into this new life of marriage together. And after they jumped over the broomstick, they were recognized as married by the whole community. I have taken note of that because I do believe I priced broomsticks, and being the father of 3, I have decided that is a better way to go. And I also offer it. I know there are some who really celebrate this time of year, this particular holiday. Our own Richard MacLeod is proud of his Scottish heritage. And so I just offer that to you and Linda. If you ever want to renew your vows, then I will note you have to jump over the broomstick together. So we'll make sure that we provide a soft landing on the other side. Probably the most common ritual associated with Beltane is the common community bonfire, the sacred fire that is built while all the other fires in the community are extinguished in the people's homes and in various places. Celebrations of the fire look to this sacred flame that is the flourishing of life. Dancing through smoke and celebrating fertility, animals are walked through the fire or the smoke of the fire so that the sacred flame can awaken their fertility. And one thing that was so important is the image and belief that this sacred fire is a protection to all. People would extinguish the fires in their home and then take this fire home and use it to relight the fires in their homes, calling on the sun god's protection. Summer also is the time to put animals out to pasture where they can feed, and the potential dangers are out there for animals in those pastures so far away from home. So the animals are brought to the Beltane bonfire and walked through the smoke of the Beltane bonfire to protect them as they went out to pasture. of all the dangers that they could encounter. The belief is they took with them the fire to help them survive a harsh world. All that harsh world that is waiting. The sacred fire images and any kind of fire images and rituals, as Jessica so beautifully pointed out earlier in our service, always makes my mind think about our chalice. Anytime fire is a part of something sacred, I just think about our chalice. Last week, we were very fortunate to be outside and moved a lot of our things outside. And after the service, I was carrying the chalice back up to put it in the sanctuary here. And someone asked me, wow, is it heavy? Because it kind of, it looks heavy. What they really were saying is that heavy for someone as out of shape as you? That's what I heard, at least. And after I was able to catch my breath, I said, no, it's not heavy. And it's really not. It looks heavy, but it's not as heavy. But then I thought to myself as preparing for today, it is heavy. This chalice is heavy. What it means to you and me and this congregation and what it symbolizes for the UUCC, but also what it symbolizes for us and our responsibility to the community and culture around us. If you think about all that, it is heavy. It is a heavy burden of glorious responsibility to be responsible for in our community. The action and the burden of this flame is heavy, and with all that it reminds us needs our protection in our community. Last week we celebrated Earth Day, and it was a chance for us to gather and make a commitment to protect the earth, to do what we can to invest in being responsible to the earth. So if you think about the responsibility of the earth and the climate and all that is in it, this web of existence, this chalice gets heavy with that burden of responsibility. On that ground where we met last week for Earth Day celebration, we have many times gathered to have a blessing of the animal service, a time where we commit together as a community to recommit to our covenant of protecting those animals and doing all we can to make sure that they are safe and that they thrive. If you think about the entire animal world around us that are dependent on you and me to sometimes fight against the greater culture to provide care, the chalice gets a little bit heavier. Now, you and I don't put animals, I don't put animals out to pasture. I do send Brinkley, our dog, to the backyard, but that's pretty much it. That's as close as I come. And we may have some farmers here among us that send animals out to pasture. I would think that living in the city of Columbia, for the most part, we don't participate in that ritual this time of year of sending animals out to pasture and needing their protection from the Beltane bonfire for all that they may encounter. But one thing we do is we send ourselves and our children out into a harsh and a dangerous world every day. Our children and our youth especially are under attack in regards to their race, their sexuality, and more recently, their gender identity. In 2 weeks at the UUCC, we're going to commemorate the International Day against homophobia, transphobia, and biphobia in our Sunday service to remind us that our chalice flame calls us to value the inherent worth of each person. Not understand each person, but value each person and work to understand and carry the heavy burden of this flame to protect them. And without these recent attacks for the reasons that I mentioned above, we as adults and our children and our youth live with traumatizing events and feelings every day. The COVID pandemic has certainly caused a great deal of anxiety and fear for our children as their world have been turned upside down for the past 2 years. And that is enough within itself But unfortunately, we have a generation of children and youth who have become too familiar with the impact of violence in our culture, and particularly gun violence. Safe spaces like schools and churches have been transformed into chaotic crime scenes. Fun places like movie theaters, festivals, and nightclubs have been transformed into battlefields. 2 out of 3 children in this generation, 2 out of 3 have experienced firsthand some kind of major traumatic event. Think about that for just a second. 2 out of 3 children in this generation have experienced firsthand, not just reading on the news, firsthand some kind of major traumatic event. And another staggering number, around 14% of our children and youth today are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. Dr. Jean Kim from the George Washington University, who is also a medical officer in the FDA, says that mass shootings are a first-line traumatic event that we can potentially trigger these PTSD syndrome symptoms in people who are directly exposed, as life and limb are under direct and violent threat. Children in particular are even more vulnerable. Multiple studies have shown that childhood trauma has more lifelong and pervasive effects on young, developing psyches, both in terms of their psychological worldview and their physiological systems that handle stress and anxiety. And on a secondary level, the threat of mass shootings throughout schools, just the threat, is also damaging to mental health. Safety and security are always paramount to a child's healthy psychological development, and this constant anxiety and sense of danger around them will disrupt that sense of security and put all children at risk of developing anxiety and mood disorders. We are living in a day where our children and our youth, and as adults, we are experiencing the effects of the trauma that has been around us. And working in a trauma center for the past 18 years, it's not a word that I use lightly. I know we describe a lot of things as trauma, but I think it's safe to describe what our children and youth have experienced in their short lives, traumatic events. There was a conference that I was in that was talking about some of the effects of these traumatic events on particularly children and youth, and many of the symptoms that come forth, we recognize: a depression, a lack of regulation of self, nightmares, anxiety, attachment issues, the loss of skills that they had previously developed. But one of the symptoms that was named has stood out to me and just kind of lingers in my gut. The statement of helplessness has become a normal state of being for children and youth today. I hear that because I need someone else to share that gut experience of holding it. Helplessness has become a normal state of being. And then if you add adolescent development to those already pervasive things in the culture, you add flashbacks, thrill-seeking behavior in order to cope, sleeping issues, avoiding places that have the potential for all of those dangerous behaviors, even if it's school, risky and dangerous behavior with feelings of the futility of life. Teenagers today have become too aware that their lives are futile, and often their behavior follows. The impact on the brain, the frontal lobe, impact on problem solving, speech, and focus, the limbic section of the brain, as far as emotions and anger and rage and managing all of those emotions, as well as memory and strategies for survival, the stem function of the brain with bodily functions and sleep, all of it impacted by these traumatic events. So how did we get from dancing around the Maypole and celebrating Beltane to this very disturbing and saddening and depressing sermon that you are preaching right now, Stephen? I'm reading your minds. See how I did that? I say this because the chalice is heavy. It is the symbol that draws us together as a community to focus on what we value and what we believe and put it into practice. And people need us. Our culture needs us. For there is hope. There is so much focus these days on trauma growth recovery, where kids and youth overcome those symptoms and even develop a strong resilience to overcome life's challenges. But as Dr. Kim points out, if they are going to do this, they need a safe place to find that help, to ground them with intentional work to develop those skills. I can't think of a better way to describe the need of our RE program. A safe place for children and youth to find help and ground them with intentional work and spirituality to deal with life. So today, on this May Day, we transform this chalice into a Beltane fire. And when I told Richard I was going to do that, he has the police or the fire department on standby. So metaphorically, we are transforming the chalice into a Beltane fire. And we commit to care and protect the people of our culture, to take this flame and let it be a burden to us to protect our culture, particularly our children and our youth who are sent out to pasture every day in this harsh world. More than standing against violence, more than just trying to limit gun control, or limit guns with gun control, all of that is necessary work, but we have to take that protection further and help our children and our youth cope with and recover from the traumatic world they are living in. This chalice is heavy, but the Beltane flame calls us to that responsibility.
I invite you to join in singing our closing hymn. It's in the teal hymnal, number 1028, The Fire of Commitment, with words by Mary Catherine Mourn and music by Jason Shelton. Please stand as you're willing and able, and wear your mask while singing.
When the fire of commitment
Please remain standing for our closing words, a traditional Beltane blessing. Bless, O true and bountiful one, bless everything within my dwelling and in my responsibility. Bless the crops, the flocks, the corn with goodly progress and gentle blessing, from sea to sea and every river mouth, from wave to wave and base of waterfall. Be the maiden, mother, and crone, taking possession of all of me. Be the horn to God, the wild spirit of the forest, protecting me in truth and honor. Satisfy my soul, shield my loved ones, blessing everything and everyone, all my land, all my surroundings. Great gods who create and bring life to all, I ask for your blessings and protection on this day of fire. As we extinguish our chalice today, may you and I carry the heavy burden of this Beltane fire of protection with us.
Please join in singing our congregational benediction by Sharon Matchett.
Thank you for being a part of this day, and we wish you a happy celebration for however it is you choose to celebrate this May Day out there. Thank you for being a part of this. Remember, the yard sale is starting to get set up out there, and they're still looking for volunteers and still looking for donations. Find Pat Moore. Thank you.